Yes, a last-minute change to the top of tonight's show, to that huge breaking news. The police investigation into Angela Rayner is examining multiple allegations and is not merely limited to potential electoral law offences. That's according to reports that have just come out this evening.
There's been a last-minute and explosive development tonight that could completely reshape the political conversation across the UK. Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister, is now at the centre of a major police investigation that has expanded far beyond the initial allegations of possible electoral law violations. Reports emerging this evening confirm that Greater Manchester Police are now pursuing multiple lines of inquiry, including tax matters, marking a sharp escalation in a controversy that has already set off a fierce political firestorm. Before we get into the details, just a quick request: if you believe the truth deserves to be heard, hit the like button and subscribe to Chanel. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing, but one click helps us fight censorship and reach more people like you. This channel runs on real support, not corporations. Subscribe now, stand with the truth, and also don't forget to subscribe to my other channel, Dark British, for even more updates. What started as what many thought was a routine administrative decision, a postponement of local elections, has quickly snowballed into something far more serious. The implications are massive. Accusations of election interference, misuse of power, and legal obstruction are now dominating headlines, dragging the government into a high-stakes drama that could ultimately shape the future of British democracy. At the heart of this political storm is the decision to delay local elections in 9 council areas across England. The government, led by Angela Rayner, claims this move was necessary to restructure local councils and improve efficiency in governance. They argue it's a pragmatic step, moving from a 2-tier system to more streamlined local authorities, supposedly to better serve constituents, but not everyone is convinced. Critics, including opposition leaders, legal experts, political analysts, and even members of Rayner's own party, see the situation in a very different light.
Police are reportedly examining tax matters and other issues on top of the question of whether Rayner gave false information for the electoral register when she lived between 2 former council houses in Stockport in the 2010s.
For critics, this isn't about governance, it's about politics and power. The timing, the areas affected, and the potential consequences of the decision have all raised serious questions. Local elections are not just a formality, they are a vital expression of democracy. They give communities a voice and allow citizens to hold their leaders accountable. So when elections are suddenly postponed, especially in areas where a rising political party is gaining ground, the move naturally sparks outrage and suspicion. Angela Rayner announced the postponement in Parliament, claiming it was about delivering a long-overdue overhaul of local councils. But those paying close attention couldn't help but notice the convenient timing. These just happen to be the exact areas where Reform UK, a party rapidly growing in popularity, was expected to achieve its biggest electoral breakthrough yet.
So what are these latest developments then? It's just landed moments ago.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a story in the Times, and it reveals that the investigation by Greater Manchester Police into Angela Rayner isn't going to be confined to just issues around the Representation of the People Act. This is the electoral law element. And of course, that's significant because those offences are meant to be registered and investigated within 12 months. So of course, now we're talking about different things. We don't know, for instance, the kind of exact detail of what they're looking into, but one potential issue, if it's involving 2 different houses, is
over 5 million voters across key areas of England, including Essex, Thurrock, East Sussex, and Hampshire, have now lost their chance to vote this year. That loss of democratic participation has sparked a fierce backlash. Reform UK, convinced that this is a deliberate attempt to stall their growing momentum, has publicly condemned the move as a direct attack on democratic principles, and they're not the only ones. Many commentators have drawn chilling comparisons, asking people to imagine if the roles were reversed. What if Reform UK were in power and decided to cancel local elections just as their opponents were gaining ground? The uproar would be instant, and accusations of tyranny would flood the airwaves. Yet when the political establishment enacts a delay that benefits them, it's somehow framed as administrative reform. Even conservative peer and polling expert Lord Haywood has weighed in, suggesting that the postponement appears to be strategically motivated.
capital gains tax, of course, and there is no kind of statutory limit on that.
He specifically highlighted Thurrock as a prime opportunity for Reform UK to win its first ever council seat. Thurrock, a traditionally right-leaning area with a strong history of supporting parties like UKIP, represented the ideal launchpad for Reform UK's local government ambitions. That opportunity, however, has now been effectively taken away, but the implications of this decision go far beyond just one election cycle. It's about the precedent it sets. If election dates can be changed based on so-called administrative needs, especially without widespread public debate or robust parliamentary scrutiny, then what safeguards are left to protect the democratic process from political manipulation?
I heard that the Labour government, despite any manifesto commitment, want to completely change the shape of local government, and that is now being used by the Conservative Party, who in fact run most of the county councils, as a reason to cancel the elections. No, I'm not making it up. Over half of the county councils in Britain have said, because these changes are coming, we want the elections cancelled on May.
Angela Rayner has stood firm, insisting that the delays are about making sure councils are properly structured before elections take place. She argues that every postponement request was carefully reviewed and that only about half were approved, claiming the default position was always to hold elections unless there was a compelling reason not to, but critics have torn holes in that explanation. Why are so many of the affected councils Conservative-controlled? Why are they mostly in areas where Reform UK was performing strongly? And why now, just as political momentum was beginning to shift, these unanswered questions have only grown louder following the news of a broader police investigation into Rayner's conduct. Greater Manchester Police are now believed to be looking beyond electoral law violations. Allegations involving housing records and possible capital gains tax liabilities are reportedly under review. If true, the scope of the investigation could go far beyond administrative irregularities and into far more serious territory. And then came the court appearance. Reports from inside the courtroom suggest Angela Rayner appeared visibly shaken.
Now, we were talking earlier about, we think it's pretty outrageous that local elections are being cancelled for 5.5 million people in the following areas: East Sussex,
West Sussex,
Essex,
Thurrock,
Hampshire,
Alawite,
Norfolk,
Suffolk.
Surrey. That is extraordinary, and that is because they are reorganising, this Labour government is reorganising local councils.
Some reports even claim Angela Rayner broke down in tears during the proceedings, an emotional moment that shows just how high the stakes have become. Reform UK has since demanded that the elections be reinstated immediately, warning that democracy itself is at risk when governments become afraid of the very people they are meant to serve. The backlash has only intensified. Conservative MP Kevin Hollenrack voiced deep concerns in Parliament, accusing Rayner's government of consolidating power rather than decentralising it. He argued that what was supposed to be a move toward devolution was, in fact, the exact opposite, a shift toward a more centralised bureaucratic structure that gives Westminster even greater control over local politics. In his view, the restructuring plan is less about streamlining governance and more about tightening the government's grip on authority. Amid this political storm, Reform UK has surged in public opinion. A new poll now places them at 29%, overtaking Labour, who have fallen to 25%, and leaving the Conservatives trailing far behind at just 18%. For the first time, it seems the political landscape in the UK could be undergoing a seismic shift. Reform UK's chairman, Zia Youssef, described the numbers as game-changing, and they truly are. This marks the first time in decades that the Conservative Party has polled below 20%. These numbers aren't just about support for a political party, they reflect public sentiment. They reflect deep frustration with the status quo, a growing belief that the political elite are more focused on maintaining power than serving the people, and that's a dangerous perception in any democracy. Angela Rayner's government now faces mounting legal and political pressure. Court challenges could ultimately force them to reconsider the election delays, but that outcome is far from guaranteed.
Guess what? As one of their first acts, they announced that local elections are being cancelled.
As the legal proceedings move forward, the political consequences continue to mount. For Reform UK, this could become the launchpad for their long-awaited national breakthrough. For Labour and the Conservatives, it's a wake-up call. Voters are no longer willing to tolerate the old games of political convenience. The future of British politics is now hanging in the balance. This is no longer just about delayed elections, it's about trust, accountability, and whether the British people believe their democracy still works for them. The road ahead is uncertain, and the consequences of the decisions being made now will echo far beyond this year's political cycle. So the question remains, was the election delay truly necessary, or was it a calculated move to suppress democratic competition? And will Reform UK continue their dramatic rise, or will the political establishment find new ways to cling to power? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth political analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.